Hello, welcome to McDowell Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series we play through each of the battles in the American Grand Campaign and Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. We start on the strategic map. It is 1600 hours on December 18, 1944, and the weather is foggy. Artillery and combat aviation have been assigned. In the last episode, the after-action review for Turn 5, American forces held the combat outposts against German attack. But German lead elements at Hofferlese moved northeast to Sandvik in the American rear. The next battle is at Baugnez, between the US 14th Cavalry Group and the German Kampfgruppe Stefan from 2nd Panzer Division. It seems that Kampfgruppe Peiper from 1st Panzer Division is no more. Commander, you must hold this supply depot. Hold the high ground near the centre of the town and occupy the tallest building for the best lines of fire. On the US side is an American cavalry battle group from the 14th Cavalry Group under command of Colonel Devane. It moves very fast and reserves are at half strength. The company consists of 3 platoons. First platoon is mostly armoured cavalry, M8 Greyhounds and M20s. Second platoon is mostly recon scouts. And third platoon includes 2 anti-tank guns and 2 light tanks. The original squads retain their names and statistics. Let's rename the new squads off camera. Now, let's review each of the squads. 1-1 is Bayer's 1st Platoon Headquarters Command Half-Track. 3-1 is Maddox's 3rd Platoon Headquarters. 2-5 is a Recon Squad. 2-4 is a Recon Squad. 2-2 is a Recon Squad. 3-4 is a Stuart light tank with a 37mm gun. 3-5 is also a Stuart light tank with a 37mm gun. 1-3 is an M8 Greyhound with a 37mm gun. 1-5 is an M20 with a heavy machine gun. 1-4 is Samson's M20 with a heavy machine gun. 3-2 is a 3-inch anti-tank gun. 3-3 is a 57mm anti-tank gun. 2-3 is an M9 bazooka team. 1-2 is an M8 Greyhound, 37mm. And 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission remains to delay German forces at Baugnez in order to block their advance. Baugnez is a tiny village consisting of a handful of buildings at a 5-ways crossroads. Roads lead east to Simmerath, southeast to Udenbreath, south to Manschau, southwest to Sandvik, and west to Stavelot. The village is surrounded by open fields enclosed with wooden fences with small woods and copses dotted around. There is high ground to the east, northeast, northwest, and southwest. In each case, a bare low hill. Observation and fields of fire are largely unobstructed across the open fields, with long sight lines down the roads. There is only very limited cover for defenders, mostly the village buildings. The southern slope of the high ground to the east provides some terrain shielding. The small copses offer some concealment but little cover. The area is open with no significant obstacles to movement. The high ground to the east and northwest is key terrain, as it would offer an attacker a marked advantage in being able to dominate the area by fire. For the defender, the village buildings are key terrain, as they offer cover and concealment. An attacker from the east has 2 broad avenues of approach, from the northeast and from the southeast. Intelligence suggests this new Kampfgruppe is approaching Baugnez from the southeast. It is probably a Panzer Kampfgruppe, so we can assume that much like Kampfgruppe Peiper, it will comprise Panther and Panzer IV tanks, half-tracks and Panzergrenadier. The Germans could make straight for the crossroads as their objective. They could use firepower from the Panzers and half-tracks to suppress any defenders in the village, put down a smoke screen east of the village, to screen the infantry, who could move up and seize the crossroads, then clear the village buildings. The road to Udenbrecht, an open area to the south, are the optimal killing zone. Alternatively, the Germans could swing around the southwest of the village, bypassing the defended village to open the road to Sandvik. This could allow them to link up with the Kampfgruppe at Sandvik, behind American lines. The Panzers would move west in formation, using their impressive firepower to clear the way. The infantry would follow behind, moving between belts of vegetation to the farmhouse to secure the roads. Then, the Panzers would swing around west of the village to the high ground and use concentrated firepower to suppress or destroy defenders in the village. The road south to Manschau would be the ideal killing zone to catch the Panzers and half-tracks in the flank. The critical capability of a Panzer Kampfgruppe is, unsurprisingly, the heavy and medium Panzers. So, the American defensive plan must, first, defeat the Panzers. In this case, this means the defensive plan would be built around the anti-tank guns of 3rd Platoon. Once the guns are in position, the remainder of the position would provide close rifle protection to screen the guns from hostile infantry. So, the Americans would put one anti-tank gun in the village, firing east down the road to Udenbrecht, with a secondary task to the south, and the other anti-tank gun on the high ground to the north, firing south down the road to Manschau, with a secondary task to the east. Regardless of how the Germans attack, all Panzers and half-tracks would have to enter one of these killing zones in order to move forward. With the guns in position, the rest of the defensive position almost builds itself. And the infantry squad firing positions should permit coordination of fire with nearby anti-tank guns. 2nd Platoon would occupy the village buildings, detaching one recon squad south on the road to Sandvik as early warning. The bazooka team would cover the left flank of the anti-tank gun. They would be reinforced by the Greyhounds of 1st Platoon covering the right flank. The remainder of 1st Platoon, along with the Stuart tanks of 3rd Platoon, would form a strong counter-attack force to the rear, concealed from view behind the woods. Once the heavy and medium tanks are defeated, this counter-attack force would move up to destroy any remaining half-tracks and infantry. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. And so we begin. Plenty of armour, Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234 by 1 2 cm. Hit and destroyed. More armoured cars. Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251 by 2 8 cm mortar. Hit and destroyed. A Sturmgeschütz 7.5 cm self-propelled assault gun. And 3 Puma 5 cm anti-tank cars. Kommandowagen Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251. Another Sturmgeschütz. Scouts. This seems like an armoured recon company, not a Panzer company. They are moving cautiously forward. One Puma is heading west through the trees. Sturmgeschütz destroyed. 3-3 Duke's 57mm anti-tank gun crew are earning their pay. Another Puma heading into the killing zone. Hit and destroyed. Along with a Sonderkraftfahrzeug 250 by 10 with a 3.7 cm gun. (3-2) Rock's anti-tank gun crew lines up a flanking shot on a Puma. Hit and immobilized. And destroyed. The second Sturmgeschütz now pushes west.
Ich halt's nicht mehr aus!
German infantry assaulting from the east. They could threaten the anti-tank gun. Fleming's recon squad moves forward to engage them. And 2nd Platoon headquarters.
Area secured!
Peralez's Greyhound jockeys forward.
Team redeployed!
Peralez knocks out the Puma. Rock's squad knocks out the 2nd Sturmgeschütz. German infantry take the village crossroads, but the recon company has had enough. With the heavy units destroyed, time to counterattack
Target neutralized.
and finish this.
No clear path.
Total American victory. The battle ended because the Germans' force morale got too low and they were forced to retreat off the map. The Americans gained control of the map and the German battle group was forced to disband. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. The Americans took none killed, just 3 wounded, all from Fleming's recon squad. The Germans took 12 killed, 10 wounded, 2 tanks destroyed, and 6 vehicles destroyed. Having wiped out every company from Kampfgruppe Peiper, we are making a good start on Kampfgruppe Stefan. Let's examine the American squads. Perales and Flak share credit for the Puma kill. Fleming's squad is wiped out, but they all make it to a field hospital rather than a grave. The battle really belongs to 3rd Platoon. Building on their earlier success, Rock shares credit for the Puma with Roy. Roy in turn shares credit for the 2nd Sturmgeschütz with Dittmann. Powers in Duke's section shares credit with Keith for the 1st Sturmgeschütz and an armoured car, accounts for another 3 armoured car kills on his own, and is awarded the Bronze Star. So far, the campaign remains a major American victory. The Grand Campaign has 14 days remaining. Your defence of the Ardennes is progressing better than your historical counterparts. Over the campaign, cumulative American losses are 176 killed in action, 167 wounded in action, 8 tanks, 2 vehicles, and 11 guns. Cumulative German losses are 418 killed, 345 wounded, 49 tanks, 48 armoured vehicles, and 1 anti-tank gun. So, what did we learn? This battle clearly demonstrates the value of centering the defensive plan on a mechanism to defeat the enemy's critical capability, and then building out the remainder of the defensive position around that mechanism. In this battle, the 2 anti-tank guns were placed in mutually supporting positions, firing into the killing zones, as recommended by World War II US Army doctrine. The remainder of 2nd Platoon's squad firing positions were then placed to provide close rifle protection to the anti-tank guns, and could coordinate their fire with the anti-tank guns. The geometry of this defensive position favoured the Americans. As soon as they entered the 2 killing zones, the Germans lost 2 tanks and 6 vehicles, and their Kampfgruppe was disbanded. All for minimal American losses. Once again, the doctrine works. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And stay tuned for the next episode.